I can hear you.
Take that, Christianity. My God can hear me.
See if it will do you any good.
I don't know. We get to give him 3 things a day?
It depends on if I proceed to roll nothing higher than a 3 for an entire session again. I didn't know that was even an option, but I refuse to live in fear of my dice.
Oh god, did we get paid for getting Fuckboy back?
Betsy, you've got direct deposit.
Can I check my balance on my phone?
No, it is way too early for that. You can call the
Even-
bank in the morning.
Do ATMs exist?
You can go to an ATM. She'd probably pay 1,000, 500 each. 1,000 to Betsy, and you pay your associate whatever portion you think is fair.
I withdraw $500 to give to the detective, and I withdraw $200 and say, let's go get hammered.
Sounds good to me. Do we still have time before we gotta meet the kid?
Betsy goes, we'll just
The
grab
sun
a
has set.
paper bag and go that way.
Grabbing a 40 in a paper bag. All right.
Yep.
I'm going to grab a couple for sharing.
Yeah, no, if we're going out to the camps, we're gonna need a couple. Especially with me being me.
I presume with my cover and the time I've spent, I'm aware of what would be best to bring. Let's spend maybe not the whole $200, but a good chunk of it.
Steel reserved. Basically whatever is cheap and plentiful.
Exactly. Couple bottles. Are there limits on purchasing alcohol like there are weed?
No. Could take a whole
Yeah.
shopping cart, and they just card you.
I'm gonna get a printer paper box and fill that with bottles to bring.
I'm gonna be nice and say that the bottom doesn't bust out of that the moment you try to pick it up. You've got a good amount of booze, nothing hard liquor. Those are closed by now, but the highest proof that they're willing to sell you at the convenience store. But as the last hints of sunset leave the sky, you arrive in Twilight at Laurelhurst Park. In Betsy's car, I assume.
But yeah, unless the detective really wants to drive.
I would, unfortunately, like to note a continuity error. How did Betsy and John get home after the church event? Your car was, in fact, elsewhere.
I probably had the agents have somebody drive my car over. Or a car over. I don't care what kind of car it is.
Okay, you've got your backup. So you could actually have one of them drive over and still have one of them have a car with which to drive the other one. John takes a point of paradox.
No, I went out to the road and I went and I smoked my cigarette and I was combing my hair, okay? And I was waiting on the side of the road hitchhiking. And WTD helped me out. And the car came by.
It was a pizza delivery dude.
I'll allow the retcon this time. You are, however, mages, so we have a mechanic to work for this. If your character just suddenly turned around the corner and was at their house, this is possible. You just take a point of paradox for it being vulgar.
Yeah, does your house move or do you? Oh, man, a magical apartment building that's just always around the corner?
Ollie just asks if you've read A Wrinkle in Time.
Ollie is not there. Ollie is currently at
In between booths.
Agent Gray's apartment. Dick, the dreaded sun has finally sunk below the horizon. What does Dick do?
I figure since I was planning on meeting people there that day that I probably just kicked it at the Trash Mahal. Caught up with people after flying away at sunrise the day before. Being very vague about what happened, just saying that I had to go off into the woods for a few days. I just needed to get my feet back under me, clear my head. And now definitely smoking a bowl down by the little pond there with Taco Bell if I can get her. Because I feel like I have to give her somewhat of the lowdown, at least.
Yeah. She's sitting down by the pond's edge with you in the twilight. As you sat down to smoke with her, she has informed you that there are some people looking for you and the twins.
Was it a old man and a crazy lady and kind of a dorky looking handsome guy in his early 20s?
I suppose they could fit that description.
I wouldn't have made it back without them. They did find me.
They seem to have found you again, she says, as she looks up to see you two walking down the path over to the Trash Mahal.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that they had already come by here. I told them to swing by the park so that I could thank them for helping me out. And that's actually one of the things I wanted to talk to you about. I'm really sorry for just inviting people over, though. I should have thought about it. I was all nervous and bird raged out. Oh,
Let us know.
thanks, TB.
I will give you some privacy with these. You can tell me all about it after.
I'll give her a hug.
She'll give you a hug, give you a pat on the shoulder, and head back off up to the Trash Mahal, colorful scarf trailing off behind her.
Dick was obviously a little bit flustered, and as y'all are walking up, is like sniffling and like mumbling something about allergies while he wipes away at his face and eyes.
I pull a bottle out of the box and offer it forward.
Betsy, I don't think that child's old enough to drink.
That child is old enough to fly out of a magical portal.
I'll drink to that, we'll say as he reach for the beer. Y'all are cool. Technically, and I'll whisper, leaning in real close, I'm actually only 2 years old.
Perception. Is this child already drunk?
This child is showing no signs of inebriation. Does seem to have just lit up a bowl.
Okay, kid. Okay, yeah. It's been a while since you smoked the good stuff.
I think. Anyways, how did you find me? And how in the holy hell did that very sweet looking nerd? I cannot ever face that kid again. I'm sorry. One of the reasons I invited y'all here is if he ever makes it out of that portal, I springboard kicked off of his chest to launch myself out of the portal. And I feel fucking horrid about it. No desire to ever see that kid again, but please express my sincerest apologies.
I'll pass it along. He's out of the portal safely.
So, having walked up here looking for, bird person,
Oh,
you saw the kid in one of the pictures talking with Taco Bell, who then started rambling at you, wiping away tears. And at this point, I think it is very obvious that this is the bird creature. But it is only obvious at this point.
I'm gonna need some explaining.
oh yeah. Weird bird person. I'll raise my arms menacingly and give like a grr face, a little snarl. It's hella cringe. I'm posting cringe on Maine.
I take a picture of you posing.
Back when posting cringe on Maine meant nailing up your GarageBand invites.
I go one step further. I print a whole magazine of my cringe. Speaking of that magazine, I hand you a copy and say, my name is Betsy Caldwell. I'm the head reporter of the Independent Think.
What's on the cover of this particular issue, Betsy?
This issue is about pseudo-archaeology. This one has a claim that a set of terraced farms in South America are actually a staircase for giants.
Yo. Have no clue what half of these words mean, but this is incredible.
Yeah, it's pictures of the terraced farms that I have photoshopped a picture of a giant from the Mother Goose story walking up.
Dick would have the ability to have an incredible bullshit radar, except for the fact that is been actually a human for a year, and this is barely the age of the internet. I've learned
No.
some of the basics, but I might have seen a globe twice.
No, you think South America is Texas.
Yeah,
You know what America is. And the South America is like Texas.
Dick will say that. Will just look at you with the most innocent eyes that you have ever seen and say, "This is in Texas?"
Even further south than that.
It goes further?
Oh, does it?
Betsy, is this one of those reality thingies? Reality perverts?
This kid? I'm starting to suspect
Pervert?
the detective can't remember the right word.
I have only ever landed on a MILF's windowsill by accident in crow form.
In crow form?
Oh,
I say with my camera prepared. If this kid starts shapeshifting, I'm taking as many pictures as possible.
I won't in public like this. I can't.
That's fair.
I could, but it's bad
Like
form.
a
And
performance issue.
no, Taco Bell would just beat the ever-living dog shit out of me if I was just popping randomly between, out in the open. I might as well step through the lake.
Yeah, that literally made no sense whatsoever to John. That was gibberish.
Did I get a name for what the vampires do to protect their identities? Do I know the phrase masquerade?
Yes, I believe the Technocracy would know that they call the veil of secrecy the masquerade, and knows that there is very little true information on the other side of it. There's a lot of propaganda, but it's hard to know which of it's true without specimens, and sometimes the things that you do to one specimen don't work on the other specimen.
Then Betsy will say, don't want to violate the masquerade when you say that you don't want to do it in public, Dick.
Oh, yeah, I think that's what some of the homies call it. Yeah, honestly, I don't know a ton about this. Yeah, I'm Dick. Dick Samson.
Dick Samson. I spell it with a P, not knowing how literal it is.
Hi there, Dick. My name's Dick Samson, detective. Nice to meet you.
We have the same name. What are the odds?
I don't know. Everyone says that, and I don't know the odds of that one.
Seems to be
I
100%.
Do I have copies of the pictures of the kids we're looking for?
John does.
Hey, John, could I see those pictures of the other missing people real quick? I want to see if Dick knows them.
Absolutely. And he will pull out his wallet, which inside you can tell are pictures that he printed at Kinko's, photocopies shrunken down so they can fit inside a wallet.
They're grainy as hell, but recognizable. At least the driver's license pictures are.
And I will hand those over to Betsy.
The first one I hand over is for Dr. Abubakar.
Shit. I would be surprised if she was anything but a pile of ash, but
A pile of ash?
uh, turned into a pile of spiders?
I write that down. Do I manage to not look phased?
Yeah, there's a flicker of something. Not sure if it was a smile or grimace or what, but you see a flicker of something on Betsy's face, but elsewise just seems to nod and write it down.
John is looking at you like you have 3 heads.
Which
Yeah,
one of us?
dude, you're telling me. I can tell by the look on your face. You're new at this too, aren't you? Yeah, my sisters are vampires.
John will just throw his hands in the air and scoff and turn around for a second. Just
I'll put a hand on his shoulder and say, I was a bird until 12 months ago. It's
I will
hard
start-
out here.
almost start crying. This is too much.
Oh, I thought I was helping.
No, you are in a way. Birdman, Dick Birdman.
I hand over the pictures of Lucretia and the twins. I don't suppose these are your sisters?
Yeah, these two, Lexi and Lilia. Sam kinda showed us all the ropes together.
Who did?
Sam, my my dad. But I know Lucretia too. We all used to hang out. There was a falling out, but we were all at Reed.
You were all at the college?
Yeah. So was Dr. Rowena.
Can you tell me about what happened at Reed?
Yeah, but we should talk somewhere not here.
Let's go to my car. It's plenty private. I listen to plenty of private sources in there. And I have a good ball.
Bless. You'll see Dick once again is misty.
What does Dick say to these
Sure.
two who are presenting the pictures as missing persons?
I have managed to avoid explaining why I'm asking so far. Just a, do you recognize?
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely know him. And once we're in the car, safe. Dick is very trusting, and at this point, y'all have saved him from eternity in golden haze. Start to give you a bit of the rundown that, yeah, up until a year ago, it might not seem as relevant to give his backstory, but he promises that it will lead up to the importance and will tell you about his early days of being a hatchling, falling from the nest and baking in the sun for days on end until rescued by a little boy and taken in. But I was sickly, and then being brought in by Sam and nursed back to health by him as well. And then one day I just sprouted up into a human, fully formed 16-year-old boy. My father was torn to pieces by the Camarilla, if that means anything to you.
Can I nod like it does?
Yes.
Now, do you mean like verbally or like physically?
Yeah, he was physically torn to pieces. He was working as a liaison between the vampires and the Rue, the wolf folk.
John is taking a hit from the bong.
You know how a president once said they smoked weed but never inhaled? I'm smoking weed, but I don't actually inhale.
Anyways, the fucking some assholes in fucking this bitch straight out of a sci-fi movie. Her and Rowena had captured a bunch of werewolves and were using the magic in their blood to fuel the fucking abomination that was at Reed College. So some bitch in a spacesuit was there with Rowena right before everything went boom.
Very
Rowena,
bold engineers were there. I mutter under my breath.
if that's what they're called, then yeah, they were.
Probably that or a LARPer.
Lexi, Lilia, Lucretia, and myself went down to Reed College to try to free my fellows, and it was the last I saw of anything except for a massive explosion that seemed to tear everything down the middle and then down that middle a million times over.
Visibly excited. This is too close not to be. Betsy says, "Can you give me more details about what happened when you found the abomination? What did the room look like?"
There were chambers, they were just stuffed inside of it.
The werewolves.
Werewolf, they were in their guru form, and I lost it. It was awful. It was like a horrible, disgusting science project. I didn't even know what their goal was.
What do you mean you lost it? Did you start attacking the scientists?
If I was faster, I would have loved to watch her perspective, plucking her eye out. Anyways, no, Lucretia, Lexi, Lily, and I started just smashing the shit out of the place. Just gave it the old ook ook.
You were the ones who destroyed the reactor at Reed College.
That's the
That way,
fallout bit. If it's been pretty bad, then no, actually, this entire thing was a prank. What?
Yeah, I'm not.
Werewolves? Vampires? Come on.
Yes, definitely.
Right? No.
John will say with the bong in his mouth, "I'm not a cop, kid."
Oh, okay.
I suppose his lips on the bong.
Yeah.
On the mouth is. John really doesn't know how to smoke bong.
He's trying.
So there was a massive explosion, and then you woke up on the other side of that portal?
Yeah, the next thing I remember was the lanky one falling through the tear in the sky, followed by that son of a bitch, Judas.
You knew Judas?
And Terry, unfortunately. Really glad I got to hit him. Hope it takes a while to heal.
You may be interested to know that it appears Judas Iscariot has eaten his master
No shit.
and murdered several of his associates.
Oh, that part's a pity, but that old guy just always gave me the creeps.
I imagine an old vampire will do that.
Do you think there was anything inappropriate going on with this Terry and your sisters there?
God, no. That's the only reason that I wasn't actively trying to kill him is that, like, especially after Sam died, he was really a bit of a mentor to them. And them to him. But he was a shitty fucking mentor. That guy practically invented gaslight, right? But he seemed to help them when they were going through tough times, so I guess I can appreciate him for that.
That makes sense. Is there anything else you can tell us about that night?
Dick will just casually recap that. No, Lexi, Lilia, Lucretia, and myself all just snuck into the college. I'm pretty sure we managed to do it without even having to give any dudes the bonk, which, good on us. High five. Dick will high
I'll give
five himself. Oh,
John will also give you a high five. There will be a round of high fives in this car. We are all smoking.
and then, yeah, we busted in there, and it was just fucking Rowena Bubakar and that fucking Tabitha bitch. Rowena
Tabitha with the
just,
big hair?
yeah. How do y'all know Tabitha?
This one
I
knows it
will
better than I
shove
do.
the detective in the side with my elbow to make sure he doesn't manage to speak up, and go, Tabitha is another person we're looking for.
She was fucking
John will.
incinerated.
John gives exactly that laugh. uh,
Dick will seem a little off put, but just shift back to his normal, somewhat cheery self and ask if you had any other questions.
What was it like inside the portal?
It was nothing until it wasn't.
I suppose it's hard to be a little more coherent than that about magical portals.
Yeah, I mean, it's if I were to ask you what it was like before you were born. It was
Uh,
nothing until it wasn't.
where was the last place you had contact with your sisters? You said that all of you went through the portal.
In a sense, the portal kind of just engulfed everything. I
Oh.
thought I was dead. After that, I spent an amount of time in a dreamlike state, seeing things that I should never have seen, or maybe that I should. I don't know. We were all there, and then poof.
I nod and offer you another beer and say, thank you for the interview, Dick.
Thank you for the beer, and it feels good to talk to people, because like now, after finding out what day it is, we realize how long you were in the span of nothingness once you're out of it. Because then it's relative. That's wild. Oh, Dick, like halfway out the car, like taps the hood playfully with a smile on his face. Almost forgot. If you cause any harm to the people at this park, I'll eat your left fucking eyeball. And then just walks back up towards the trash mahal. That's the one that lets Dick see your perspective of the last awful thing you saw, which is him flying at you.
Brutal.
And eating your eyeball.
Is wholesome boy, but also loves squishy, delicious eyeball.
Once it seems like you're headed away from the car, I will attempt to go around a block or two to just put some distance between us and the park before turning to the detective and say, that was fruit.
So was that kid spewing bullshit, or was that actually like, oh god, it was the truth, wasn't it?
I'm literally gonna have to look it up. I'm gonna have to spend a day looking stuff up to see if that was true or not. But one thing I do believe him on is that Tabitha was there, which is not good for us. Tabitha hired us to figure out what happened there. But if she was there, then she should know, which means we're not investigating, or I suppose maybe we're investigating for the rest of the engineers, but not for the person who actually got us to do this.
Yeah, I
Can't just
don't like
release
that.
information. I'd call my boss, but she's probably busy right now. Suggest we find a bridge to drink and throw bottles off of, and then sleep for the night and try my boss in the morning.
Do you think Veronica got to the rank of agent like she did by not being able to multitask? She can peg Ollie and handle a business call at the same time.
If it weren't about somebody whose mere name sent her about halfway off a cliff. Because Veronica freaked out when we mentioned Tabitha.
Yeah, that is true. Ollie might have to do some magic because he could end up with a rectal tear if not careful.
So I will wait till she is outside of your butthole to call her.
Sounds like going to a bridge and drinking and chucking bottles off.
John will drive around until he finds one specific bridge that is high enough and out of the way enough that you get that lag between the bottle throw and the crash sound, and it's just real nice.
Use of cloaking ever.
So I use my cloaking 5 and my wits, and we will go drive out to the best place and just go chuck bottles. John will give you a sob story about how his wife left him for the waiter at Chuck E. Cheese.
Detective backstory. Hot damn.
I loved her.
Okay, then
For Charles Entertainment.
Give 30 years of my life to that woman. 30 years! That mice costumes are a fetish. Did you know that? Did you
God,
know
did
that?
I know that?
You're a conspiracy theorist. You know this.
Then I nod and say, furries.
John is drinking more than you think should be possible for him.
That's fine. I need him to let off some steam before we deal with our next batch of magic bullshit.
Oliver, the protectiveness of your cougar has been dialed up to 11.
oh my.
Supposing, of course, that Ollie has had an eventful night and a good amount of sleep afterwards. In the morning, what does Ollie do?
Wakes up, does the wake and bake, tries hand at cooking breakfast for Veronica, as I know I've given her quite a headache in the past few days, and start trying to come up with a speech about how I've definitely learned my lesson about how dangerous this enlightened science stuff can be, and I can definitely be trusted to roam around with my friend.
You didn't set off the smoke alarm.
Perfect.
She eventually comes out in a gray button-up shirt and her sunglasses and nothing else.
Bless.
Walks over, looks at the breakfast you've made. Honey, I've already ordered room service, she says as the doorbell rings.
Yeah, that's probably for the best. This one got away from me.
Can you go get that from the door real quick?
Yeah, of course. I'll go answer the door.
I guess I didn't really say this was a hotel, so it's not really room
Yeah, I was
service.
surprised this is a hotel. It's delivered.
No, a courier with thermal bag comes out holding breakfast. Probably eggs, bacon, and toast from Sherry's.
Perfect. Grab cash to tip the delivery driver and take the food from them.
They'll appreciate it. Thank you for the tip. And head on their way. You come back in and have a breakfast with Veronica. Your dishes and everything are already cleaned up.
Appreciate you doing that. Crazy couple of days.
It does sound like it. It's
Feel like
okay. You're safe now.
feel like I really learned a lot.
Oh, you
Yeah,
learned.
I learned about the repercussions of enlightened science, say the least. Oh, that vampires exist. That was a doozy. Also, that boy turned into a bird person. He kicked me. Anyways, I guess I'm not making the best case. I think that I can
Well,
learn a lot from your employees.
you want to go, what, search for Mothman with Betsy?
Yeah, or whatever else you're having them do. I don't know if I can get fully down with the processing and the way that y'all do everything, but I want to help you. I want to be useful. You've done a lot for me.
Oh, darling, you are useful. Right where you are.
Well, I know, but I can do so much more. I feel it.
She'll sigh. I suppose I can't keep you trapped here like a bird in a cage.
My song would eventually get annoying.
She will give a short smile at that. You can assist them if you wish. And, of course, go to your lab. Do try not to get thrown into any more portals.
Promise.
The actual finish breakfast with you, unless there's anything else you wanted to specifically note about the conversation from there.
No, just if she has any more tips of things that I should know about enlightened science, things to avoid, how to make sure that I don't suit glue my dick to my pants again.
The masses will only believe so much. Like it or not, the enlightened anthropic principle does take them into account. They will eventually be convinced it is the plan. She will explain vulgarity as best she can, and the consensus reality, it's more complicated than that. But that's the easiest analogy she'll essentially explain. A long time ago, people lived in a much more patchwork reality, and those who could thrive in their little consensus bubbles oppressed the rest in creative and horrifying ways. We in the Technocratic Union are blurring the lines. We are making it uniform. If everyone believes the same thing in science, in reason, in technology, and rationality, then everyone will prosper and everyone will eventually ascend in the terms of the nation. We will all be able to share the technologies of the Technocratic Union with the masses. We must simply follow the plan.
One step at a time.
One step at a time. She will give you the number of her secretary, who has the beeper numbers of all her agents and knows how to send them codes and stuff like that. If you need to get a hold of Betsy, use this number.
Will do. Thank you so much, Veronica. Really means a lot.
We all have our place in the grand design, and I think that you will teach the world great things. From there, what do you do, Ollie?
Probably go to the lab after attempting to contact Betsy and making a schedule to meet up.
So yeah, you'll call the number on the card. You want to arrange a meeting with Betsy, and she will tell you to wait for Betsy's call.